Hi everyone, Wirewith here. When you hear the word metaverse, what pops into your head? If you had been asked this a year ago, you would have probably thought of something like Ready Player One, SAO, or Snow Crash, or maybe you hadn't heard of it at all. Before, it was generally seen as an interconnected set of games, usually accessed through VR, that allowed for an unrivaled amount of creation and exploration. That's changed recently. In October of last year, Facebook announced that it would be changing its name to Meta to emphasize its focus on the Metaverse. This announcement was followed by a tsunami of other tech and entertainment giants joining in to share their passion for this Metaverse that they totally hadn't just heard of the week before. I don't know about anyone else, but while watching this, I didn't feel excited. Instead, I felt dread. I saw something that I've actively worked on and look forward towards change before my eyes. Instead of a fantasy land of free creation, I saw a future in which the very reality we inhabit, not just the virtual one, is controlled by large tech companies where decisions are made not by the people inhabiting and creating those spaces, but instead guided by profit. This video is my best attempt at showing what people actually want from a metaverse, and if you stay till the end, I'll explain my plan for getting there. What is the metaverse? This question has been asked many times and will be asked again. Since the surge in hype around it, most people have realized that not many, if any, people actually know what they're talking about, and those that claim to be experts probably don't have your best interests at heart. And the truth is, nobody knows what it is because functionally it does not exist. Right now, there isn't hype for the metaverse, there's hype for the word metaverse. My best guess at what the mainstream version of the metaverse is supposed to be is an attempt to mesh our reality with the digital one, where you can essentially just turn a slider and choose how much of our reality you want to be digital and how much you want to be actually real. Want it to be 50-50? Put on a pair of AR glasses. Want to go full escapism? Hop into VR. At least that's what I got from Facebook Connect. Worked into all of this is the promise of things like decentralization and digital ownership, a pipe dream where you're able to transfer your favorite skin across a multitude of games, and even sell it when you're done with it. I say pipe dream because as a game dev myself, I can testify that we're too busy getting our own stuff to work to try getting other people's stuff to work, to say nothing of how hard it would be to get a balanced sandbox working when you can just import anything. So what's so bad about this view of the metaverse? Two things. First are large tech companies, specifically Facebook, Meta. While they have claimed that they are very gung-ho on an open and free metaverse, words are just words. This is Facebook that we're talking about, and the fact that they control the entirety of standalone VR and a good 60% of Steam VR, anything they say basically goes about at this point. The second thing I see as problematic are blockchain technologies. While the things they promise are very appealing and theoretically would be perfect for something like a metaverse, everyone without a sunk cost fallacy knows that they're not quite there yet and have several issues that will prevent any meaningful mass adoption for a while. Now for the question, what do people actually want? Do they even want a metaverse? To be honest, as much as it pains me to say it, most people don't actually want a metaverse. The first time they heard the term was out of the mouth of Mark Zuckerberg, lumped in with things like NFTs and crypto, and they probably feel like it's being forced on them and want no part in it. We also don't want to buy digital land. At first, it may seem like a good idea to an investor not familiar with the space, because IRL land is a great investment, but the reason that IRL land has value is that there is a limited supply of it. You can't just expand the earth. This changes on a digital platform, though. The only cost for land in VR is the server costs to run it. Other than that, it's limitless. So if you buy VR land, you're buying something with a completely made-up value. We also don't want literally everything to be an NFT. At the moment, NFTs don't solve the problems that they claim to solve and create many new ones. Plus, everything that an NFT can do can be done through much more maintainable methods that are much less vulnerable to fraud. So what do people want? Good games that focus on gameplay and provide a good experience independent of your net worth. A metaverse should be more about the people and the experiences that it can provide them. What are we going to do about it? One thing we can all do right away is support things like VR chat that encapsulate the best of what we want out of our metaverse experience. But that's not quite enough. Though these modern platforms come close to a metaverse, they're not quite there. I believe that for a metaverse-like thing to flourish, You need something like the seed from SAO, a template that anyone can use to start their own independent world hosted by them, but still connected to the greater network of worlds. A WordPress of VR MMOs, so to speak, that puts power into the hands of the creators. And that is exactly what I'm making. For the past 9 months, I've been working on my own game engine and server framework from the ground up. So why do I think this project will beat the other multi-million-dollar projects trying to do something similar? Honestly, I can't. I'm just one overly idealistic teenager, but I can create something that a niche group of people will love. I believe this project will be successful for 2 reasons. One, because I've taken the time to try and listen and understand the people who inhabit the current form of the metaverse, and I'll continue to try to listen and understand this community. Second, I'm not in this for the money. If I was, I'd be selling you on my limited, only 2,000 ever minted collection of WireWiz logo NFTs that will reserve your plot of land in my digital utopia. I'm in this entirely because it's my passion, and I feel like it's the best thing I can contribute to the community. So what makes my vision different? Why not just use VRChat or Neos? I'm not going to go into too much detail or promise too much, because I know far too much about the damage that overhype does to a community. The main thing that sets my vision apart from existing platforms like VRChat and Neos is how world hosting and assets are going to work. On other platforms, worlds are hosted on said company's servers. With my engine, the idea is to emulate something closer to WordPress, where anyone can use my framework to host a world on their own servers, independent from my potential future company. I also want to take a shot at having cross-game or server items. Rather than using NFTs, we'll have it where everybody is in charge of storing their own assets with their servers, and they will be able to set the permissions for who is able to use those. Let's say that somebody makes a really popular mirror asset that other people want to include in their worlds. That person can set that asset to be public, and then whenever a user loads into a world that contains that asset, they'll download it directly from the server of that creator. But on the other hand, if an avatar creator wants to make sure that only a select few people can use an avatar, they can make it a whitelist for who can request that. I also want to try a few other things like built-in rollback networking, procedural loading of models and textures, support for open worlds, etc., but that's a while off, and again, all of this is subject to change and not a promise. I want to make it absolutely clear that this is all a pipe dream, one that might actually happen, but a pipe dream nonetheless. The plan is to release a public demo showing the progress of the engine about every 2 months starting late February. The first one is going to be really simple, just a multiplayer version of Pong, and by the end we'll have a simple VR chat room with player-made content. At that point, I'll look into getting funding to start a company so that I can expand the engine's capabilities even further. Until then, I try to stream myself working on the engine a few times a week, and if you want to support the project, Patreons can get access to the server framework, non-public builds, and betas, or you can just be nice. Me and my editor, Abstergoat, will be releasing a video soon talking about a different project that we are starting, so keep an eye out for that as well. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys when I've finished Pong.
We'd also like to give a quick shout out to everyone who has already supported the Patreon. Everything from the Patreon goes straight back into the channel for things like gear, a studio eventually, fingers crossed, as well as other things to help make more content. Thanks again to all of our supporters. There will be a link in the description if you're interested.